Wendell, and welcome viewers to today's edition of the Regional News. We start off with some news in Trinidad and Tobago, where on Monday, the island's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley admitted the COVID-19 pandemic has created a 15 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars hole, which is likely to impact the country's upcoming budget considerably and devastate efforts in the tourism market. He stressed that the island was no different from any other in the world, from the richest to the poorest, where there is a limited amount of hospital beds and ventilators, a limited number of doctors, nurses, and personal protection equipment. He said, and I quote, "We have so far held among the best in the world on the management of COVID-19. If we do not do this with diligence and sustained social responsibility, our medical system will be overwhelmed with the potential of a collapse, posing then further disasters for us all." End of quote. The PM warned that now was not the time for fun, frolic, and bravado, which would invite unspeakable disaster, and Trinidad and Tobago, like the rest of the world, and I quote, "may yet feel its full ferociousness, and we still have no idea when it is going to end." End of quote. Still in Trinidad, the COVID-19 pandemic may have disrupted the education system, but the Ministry of Education says once all stakeholders work together and do their part, the remote teaching method being implemented for the coming term will be successful. Schools, which have been closed since March, were set to reopen on Tuesday, but not in the usual way. Pupils will not be required to physically attend classes, but the curriculum will be taught via online, television, and other means. In the first term of the 2020-2021 academic year is to run from September 1 to December 11. The ministry has separated pupils into two categories: those who can participate unhindered in the online environment, and those who cannot due to lack of access to devices or internet connectivity. For the latter, teachers are to provide printed packages of learning materials which parents can collect at the schools at least once per week. Corrected assignments, etc. will also be returned to pupils using this mechanism. Of approximately 225,000 pupils across the education system, roughly one quarter, or over 56,000, do not have access to device or internet. And finally, in news out of St. Kitts, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris says the government expects 188 million EC dollars, which equals to about 69 million US dollars, fallout in revenue over the first 6 months of this year as compared to the same period last year due to the impact of coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Harris said that the strategy has been to contain the economic recession, avoid loss of lives, and restore the country to pre-COVID-19 levels of economic activity, followed by expanding growth rates. Dr. Harris said his administration, which was recently re-elected to office, has been able to reduce the cost of servicing the public debt, freeing up funds which are now being used for building roads. He told the nation that apart from the United States and Canada, the per capita income for St. Kitts and Nevis ranks third among sovereign states of the Western Hemisphere and number one in the sub-regional organization of Eastern Caribbean states. And that is it for our region news this evening. And I will continue to urge our viewers to stay indoors, wear those masks, use those hand sanitizers, and continuing practicing social distancing. Back to you, Wendell.